What can Juventus do with this set piece? Has options short, Kalulu in particular. The Kostic will cross. Plenty of air and a strong catch there for minutes. As the idea of playing quickly bumps into a couple of Juve players. But nothing really there for the long-time Napoli netminder, who's on his way to getting replaced by Vanja Milinkovic-Savic. Bennett, of course, dealing with injuries of his own, but in the 2 Scudetto-winning seasons, he was the starting goalkeeper. Vanja looked to have taken that role. Challenging from Kelly. Cabal going back at Dignagoni, had to race out as there were lingering pressers.
Great dexterity there from McTominay to latch onto that ball.
And facilitates there, but given away. Well done, Locatelli to find the open man, David. Rides the challenge of Vergara. Yellow card is going to be handed out.
It wasn't as clear from the replay. Maybe just brushed the right leg of Jonathan David.
And now Sid Bukama will come in for Miguel Gutierrez. Could push Di Lorenzo into a more attacking role.
Yeah, they're going to a back 3 and getting the wide players a bit further forward. So it looks like Vergara's going to play that left wing back role. So you could go to a more traditional Antonio Conte-like system.
Forward into David.
Excuse me, Spinazzola on the left. And Vergara a bit deeper in the midfield. So it makes sense to have Giovanni flanking. Højlund, Giovanni left-footed player. You can play him on the right where he can cut in on that left.
McTominay. Bukama forward. And now Giovanni harried there. Does win a free kick. Former Corinthians man. Wasn't even really first choice in Brazil before moving to Italy.
Well, Verona have had some really good purchases too over the last few years. And what a gem it was for them to find him and then flip him for around $25 million. But you can see when he latches onto the ball, he's got a lovely touch.
Stadium's bouncing here in Turin, trying to get behind their side. A little more than a quarter of an hour remaining. Juve have defended doggedly in the second half, almost daring Napoli to play through them. It's going to be given as a throw-in on this near side. That forward ball did go out of play. Looks as though another change was being readied on the bench, and it will be David to come off. Having scored his goal, Moises Penda will come in for him.
What a performance in the first half. The way he settled that ball in his chest, rode the contact, and a calm finish, showing everything: balance, composure, timing of the run. On a lovely little looping ball from Locatelli, the only goal today. And Fabio Miretti's in. He's had some really solid performances as of late. Another one of those players who was pretty much shunned by Tudor, but given a lifeline under Luciano Spalletti, just like Filip Kostic. Remember that Miretti last season had a pretty good loan spell at Genoa. A few of those Juventus youth players did, even Hans Nicolucci Caviglia, Venezia, and they sold him off to Fiorentina.
Oh, it's given away now by Jesus. And now a chance here for Kenan Yildiz. Final goal for Juventus' push for the Champions League. They have defended and defended in the second half. One mistake is punished from Napoli, and Juve have doubled their lead.
It's an absolute assist from the Napoli center back with a player of the quality of Kenan Yildiz. Look at him, just opens up his hips. He's always looking far post, just gets enough lift on it to get it across and around. The goalkeeper met it, but that is all about the turnover. Juan Jesus with a gift-wrapped ball for the Juventus attack. It's the last thing Napoli could afford to do. They were still very much in this game. And sometimes those errors, they come out of Juan Jesus. We've seen it over the years. He could be having a solid game, and then the back-breaking error. Now Napoli are forced to go all in. Romelu Lukaku's back. So it's Lukaku, Højlund, and Giovanni all leading the line. 3 strikers in the final 12 minutes for Conte. Is that enough?
Sometime for your 2026 debut. Romelu Lukaku, his season debut as well. He's not played any minutes. And he'll come on here in a time of need. He was going to come on at some point, but this is some situation to put him into a level of game of this magnitude. Jesus. Buongiorno.
I mean, to go across goal with a pass like that from Juan Jesus, it really leaves you scratching your head. It's such a dangerous ball to play deep in your own half when you're facing pressure. And it was so far away from his intended target, too. It's like he had an out-of-body experience.
McKennie with the block in. And these Juve supporters are really starting to get behind this team.
Oh, I mean, what a turnaround it's been under Spallettone. And also the implications that this has in the table. It brings Juventus within 1 point of Napoli for 3rd place and tied on points with Roma, who play Milan in about an hour's time. Arguably the biggest day of the Serie A season.
The race for top 4 is well and truly on. Thuram, after Lukaku was dispossessed, Miretti looking for a 2nd assist after coming on. That's a poor ball though. Far too much on it towards McKennie. Fabio Miretti came on. His first touch of the game was an assist. Well into the stride of Yildiz. Yildiz now with 8 goals in Serie A this season. Likely get to double digits. Might get another one here. That's another cheap giveaway. Yildiz, why not? Playing with verve, with freedom, and with confidence right now, this Juventus side.
And now Napoli in the last few minutes just struggling to get the ball in Juventus' half. And you have to credit Juventus cycling through the times that they press, and they had players forward at the right moment, just enough to exploit that mishap from Juan Jesus.
See Højlund and Lukaku on the pitch together. Conte, no stranger to playing two strikers, but it does require a certain level of chemistry.
Chris, look at how compact that Juventus defense and midfield is. There's barely any space in between the lines there for Napoli to exploit, but they do have considerable size now. Lukaku and Højlund, just even if you can get the ball out wide and start spamming those crosses in, just give them something to work with.
Sam Bukema. And Kelly snapping in, and Yildiz was waiting to go attack. Conte will be disappointed, but it does seem as though the title defense is not going to be able to last into the second part of the year. The result right now sees Napoli 9 points off the league leaders Inter. Do look unstoppable at times. Free kick given for Inter, that chance to win on Friday and be on the couch throughout the weekend to watch the potential carnage which could flow if Roma were to win later today.
Oh, I mean,
that giveaway again.
And that angle, it's not making it look any better. Just onside on the pass. The intended, I don't know who was Jesus even trying to find with that ball. It was about 5 yards away from the closest center back, who I assumed he was going to, but even to play that ball across goal, facing pressure, it's so dangerous.
Locatelli lifting towards Kostic. Flag will go up. Bukema. Højlund. McKinney sending it forward, and his appeals there for a free kick for a high boot there is Bukema feeling he was caught there by Weston McKinney. Big response from Juve after their defeat last time out in Serie A. There's that ball. Oh, yeah. The studs do catch him, don't they?
Oh, that's so painful. The studs right on the temple. Fortunately for Sam Bukema, it didn't open up a gash. You can see some really nasty cuts with similar incidents.
Given away there by Højlund. McKinney.
Again, 85th minute, up 2-0. Juventus somehow able to keep possession and keep the ball away from Napoli, and still committing bodies forward.
Juventus did certainly exhaust themselves in midweek in the Champions League themselves. Do have a bit more depth to call upon, though.
Well, the best way to not concede is to have possession yourself, and really in the last 10-15 minutes, Napoli have not been able to get anything sustained in Juventus' half. It looks like really organized play by the Bianconeri.
Minetti, and now Kostic. Like a crossing option, but just keeping possession here. Locatelli has to race back.
It just feels like there's a deflation to Napoli, right, Chris? Ever since that mistake led to the second goal.
Tula trying to find Kostic, could still come for him. Philip Kostic! The exclamation point on a brilliant performance from Juventus. Kostic with his third goal of the season, and the third goal of the night for Juventus. Job done for the old lady.
La Juventus ha segnato il numero 18,
Statement by Juventus in a game that can mean so much, whether it's for the top four, maybe even the Scudetto race. balls. Juventus have done so well with the possession, and they get a bit lucky here as that ball came off the shin of Buongiorno, inadvertently bobbles it right into the path of Kostic, who still has everything to do. He hammers it on his favorite left foot, right into the bottom corner. What a brilliant hit. Kostic repaying the faith that's been shown in him by Luciano Spalletti since Spalletti took over. And I think for Napoli, as McTominay said in a post-match press conference, they have so many players out, players that were sold. And whether it's the thin squad or just the might of Juventus, they've had to suffer because of it. Juventus' coal miners comes in to bring added stability. A fantastic performance by Kenan Yildiz. Also Federico Gatti, another center back to shore up that back line.
So Spalletti using his final changes now that the game is well and truly to bed for Gatti. A welcome return for a player that's been out for some time. His first game in Serie A since November the 8th when he got injured in the local derby against Torino. More than 2 months out due to a knee injury. And we'll get a few minutes here at the end of the game and could provide another option for Spalletti in games to come. Kelly, McKennie off the chest, and now Kostic giving back to McKennie. The fourth looks on. Minetti hesitates. Fabio Minetti's effort is blocked.
I mean, it's unbelievable in the last 15 minutes the way that Juventus have been able to monopolize possession. You'd assume they just all sit back and defend, but they've just kept the ball away from Napoli. Napoli, the team that should be chasing and going gung-ho, everyone forward. They look rassegnati, like they've resigned from the possibility now. And even after that second goal went in, that mistake from Juan Jesus was just such a blow to the morale of Napoli. They were a completely different team before that mistake.
It's been more than 30 minutes since Napoli have even attempted a shot in the game. Never mind, actually created a clear chance. Conte goes gung-ho by making the changes, throwing Lukaku and Giovanni on. Are you almost unbalancing the team by throwing too many attacking players?
No, I mean, they started the game off with Elmas and Vergara flanking Højlund. I know they're different characteristics of players, but I think this is a testament to the way that Juventus have stayed aggressive. Look at their shape right now. A lot of teams would beat everyone back in their own half, but Juventus don't have to. They found so much success by applying pressure, forcing the mistake when Napoli trying to build up from the back. And they're saying, you know what? Let's just not let Napoli attack. Let's keep the ball out of their hands, and that way we know for a fact they won't score. Lukaku's not gotten a touch. Giovanni's barely gotten a sniff.
Not the kind of atmosphere, not the kind of big game performance we've seen from Juve too often this season. McKennie, dispossessed. And a free kick awarded. Although Juve don't move up in the table come the end of the weekend, they have another challenger in Como. It is still a real sign that they intend to be a challenger in the second half of the season. If not for the Scudetto, then certainly to move up the table.
I mean, how ridiculously tight is that top four battle now, with teams like Como inserting themselves into the picture? I think Roma Milan will give us a clearer idea as well.
I don't know if you're Napoli with drop points in 5 of the last 6 games in all competitions. The worry would be
he's through.
Højlund into his run. Lukaku could have marked his return with a goal. That's a golden chance for him.
It was, and Højlund did so well to hold on to possession, spinning around the fresh legs of Gatti, and he plays it perfectly. And Lukaku just completely shanked this effort. He had the space. There was a separation there between him and Bremer. It would have been, even if it gone in, too little, too late, but what a golden chance that was. And that's just the rust of Lukaku, player who's not been on the pitch all season long. He starts to work his way into the speed of the game, the rhythm.
There's Yildiz celebrating on the bench. Already more goals this season than last. He is taking on the mantle, being the lead man. Remember, we went to Juventus last season, and his was the jersey that was on display in the club shop. This was before he'd even fully taken off. I think the club recognized he was going to be their next big player, and that hype can overwhelm some, but he has taken it on his shoulders and lifts Juventus consistently. Off the ball forward there from Kelly. And Thuram will go direct, and Kalulu still running. Look at Mehmet well off his line. Dazzling display from Juventus over the course of the 90 minutes. Did defend for long stretches of the second half, but held on and largely were unbothered by Napoli going forward. Coop Miners, who's come on as a sub, lifting forward.
And for Juventus, how much will they rue that missed chance against Cagliari? As we mentioned at the start of the game, the first team since the stat has been recorded that had 78% possession or more that lost a game in Serie A. And had so many chances. But will that be a result that at the end of the season, when you're tallying up all the points, will that cost them silverware or potentially a European spot?
Jesus. Lobotka. Intercepted there by Coop Miners, and you can see just the energy and the endeavor was with Juventus today as the full-time whistle goes. A brilliant result from Spalletti's men, David, Yildiz, and Kostic, with the goals in the game as it finishes Juventus 3, Napoli 0.
Yeah.